Thank you for tuning in. New SEC podcast. We're talking Kansas traveling to take on Missouri in Columbia, Missouri. The spread is 6.5 for Missouri favored, and the over-under is 51.5. And we're excited to see this matchup. I'm especially excited. It's a little throwback to the Big 12. Love to see that. What are we thinking here on the new SEC podcast with Jalen Daniels traveling to Missouri?
They haven't played since Missouri left for the SEC. So it's been a little while. Border war. Big game. First big game for these two teams this season. Like Kansas has played 2 games, but it hasn't been, really against anybody. We know what Missouri did week 1, Central Arkansas. It was the quarterback competition cut short. So you have 2 quarterbacks coming into this game, both with dual threat capabilities. It's a big matchup between 2 quarterbacks.
It's a really big matchup between two good quarterbacks, and Jalen Daniels has been kind of like pretty on this season. 4 touchdowns last week against Wagner. This Kansas defense has only given up 14 points all season. And that's against, EJ Warner for Fresno State, who's a decent G5 quarterback, right? He used to play for Temple. So it's going to be an interesting matchup of what Kansas's defense could do against Missouri's offense, of course, and vice versa. When I'm looking at this matchup, a couple key things that stand out is we don't know. I don't think it's really easy to know what Kansas team will show up. You look at last season, they're able to take down Iowa State, BYU, Colorado. But then you look at the receiving core, it's an all new receiving core, all transfer guys. And last season they only had 2 100-yard receiver games. So I'm not fully sold on Jalen Daniels just yet. And I don't really fully know what to expect from Kansas, just given how sporadic they have been.
Yeah, it could be a different game. Kansas was a late turn it on, play spoiler to a couple teams late in the season. They did add Emmanuel Henderson, Alabama transfer, had pretty good game last week against Wagner, 2 touchdowns, 130 yards. Solid for him coming out party.
Yeah.
In that game. They're going to be able to potentially test this Missouri defense from a play calling standpoint. They're a big play action team. They were big in play action as last year as well. They have Daniel Hillshaw Jr. averaging 5.8 yards per carry in the 2 games that he's played in. You have some of these receivers that had big games, again, against Wagner, against inferior competition. It's what is Missouri's defense going to be able to do when looking at, Jalen Daniels. He's not run first, but he can run pretty well, and he can get out of the pocket. So you have to monitor all of these different pieces when they're running play action and figure out the right read on the game. So I'm not necessarily bought in on Jalen Daniels as, hey, this guy's the game breaker for this game, but he could be if Missouri doesn't make the right read.
Yeah, Missouri doesn't make the right reading. It definitely could be a game breaker. And I'd expect, he talked about Daniel Hillshaw. They'll kind of run like a little bit of some read option there. A couple seasons ago, he had 626 yards. He's now their leading rusher, replacing Devin Neal, of course, NFL running back now. I expect him to kind of be that duo tandem rushing wise with Jalen Daniels. I keep saying, I want to say Jaden Daniels from the Commanders, but Jalen Daniels. And so on the Missouri side, a lot to be excited about with Prabula. I think that Kansas has not seen an offense like this that we can expect to see from Missouri. I expect Ahmad Hardy to play well. I expect Kevin Coleman to get more involved in this game. I mean, what are your thoughts there on the Missouri offense?
Yeah, I like what he brought from a confidence standpoint into the game early and often. And if you've watched our other previews, I love to talk about passes over 10 yards, passes over 20 yards. I think it's an important stat when looking at quarterbacks at what they're willing to uncork in a game. Prabula's pretty dangerous. He only had 5 incompletions in the game last week. He was 9 for 11 on passes over 10 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground that he added. He was responsible for 5 first downs with his legs. So he can kind of do a little bit of everything. And like you mentioned, you get additional receivers involved. There's opportunity to start rolling against this Kansas team. Like if he has those big passes like he did early last week against Central Arkansas, starts airing it out, it could turn into a little bit of a longer game.
Definitely could, right? And we shout out a couple players on our SEC Team of the Week, video that we posted if you haven't watched it. And, they have a really strong weapon at receiver with Marquise Johnson.
And I also like the running back, Ahmad Hardy, big transfer in. I think he's going to roll in this one. He's physical, fast. I think that they will wear down Kansas's defense in this one with all that they have. all the different weapons that they can bring into a game like this. Now they are down a kicker, just to bring in some special teams. We talked about that as well previously. They're down a kicker. They'll have two different guys, one doing place kicking, one doing kickoffs. They also just went out and got another kicker added to the roster. So hopefully this game doesn't go down to the wire for Missouri to where they need to put a new guy on the spot, under the spotlight. The guy who came in did pretty well though in the game last week.
Yeah, ideally it's not that situation, right? And like I said, we're saying this in a couple previews. It's hard to really judge because a lot of FCS to Power 4 competition on both sides, with Missouri playing Central Arkansas and Kansas playing Fresno State, who's a G5 contender, and playing Wagner, right? I think Wagner's their NEC, Northeast Conference, right? So different level of football. What's our final predictions here when we look at this 6.5 point spread for Missouri and the over-under being 51.5?
I think Missouri takes this one. I got them by 14 points. I got them 31-17, beating Kansas. I think that this is another game where Pabula looks good. Stunts, both on the ground, in the air. I think that he can bring a lot to this team. And this is just one more as they start to enter SEC play with South Carolina in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think this offense has the opportunity to be even better than it was last year. I feel like it feels more balanced with Marquise Johnson, and they're going to have Kevin Coleman involved, Ahmad Hardy, and that's saying a lot, right? You had Noel last year, you had Brady Cook, you had Theo Weiss break out, but it's a bold prediction. I expect to kind of see it come to fruition this week, but I expect Missouri to be able to win this game 28-10.
All right, I like it. I mean, we both got Missouri in this one. It's a reinvigorated rivalry. We'll see what happens. It'll be a 3:30 game at Mizzou. So let us know what you guys think, Kansas fans, Missouri fans. Who do you got in this one? How do you think this one shakes out? As always, like, follow, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one. I'm Hunter Ziesman. He's Randall Adet Jr.